All right, let's just jump right in. Choosing a new roof for your house, that is a huge decision. It's literally the shield that protects everything you own. So today, we're going to break down the two heavyweights in the world of asphalt roofing.
So, if you're facing a roof replacement, you know that feeling. The choices seem endless, the costs can be, well, surprising, and all the technical jargon, it's just a lot to handle. But hey, don't worry, we're here to cut through all that noise and make this really simple and clear.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll introduce the main contenders. Then, we'll look at what they actually have in common before we put them head-to-head on the stuff that really matters. We'll even talk about what the experts say is more important than the shingle itself, and then, at the end, help you make your final choice.
All right, let's get into it. Let's meet our two main contenders in the asphalt shingle arena.
Okay, first up we have the 3-tab shingle. You've seen this one 1,000 times for sure. It's basically a single, flat shingle with 2 notches cut out, which gives it that look of 3 distinct tabs. Hence the name, right? For decades, this has been the go-to, the standard, mainly because it's simple and affordable. You can think of it as the old reliable.
And then, here's the challenger, the architectural shingle. You might hear it called a dimensional or laminate shingle, but it's the modern upgrade. Its defining feature is really how it's built. It's made of multiple layers all fused together, which makes it way thicker, heavier, and just a lot more robust.
Now here's what's really interesting. Even though they look and perform so differently, these two shingles, well, they actually share the same DNA.
You know, at their core, they're both built from the same basic recipe. They start with a fiberglass mat for structure, then that gets saturated with asphalt to make it waterproof. And finally, they add a top layer of these little mineral granules to protect the shingle and your house from the sun's damaging UV rays.
In this visual, this really gets right to the heart of it. Over on the left, you see that simple, single-layer construction of a 3-tab shingle. But look at the right. You can actually see how an architectural shingle is made by laminating multiple layers together. Now, this multi-layer construction isn't just for looks. It makes the shingle about 50% heavier, and that extra weight, well, that's the secret to all of its performance advantages.
Okay, so with that foundation laid, let's put them side by side and see how they really stack up in the categories that matter most to you, the homeowner.
First up, curb appeal. How does it look? The 3-tab shingle gives you that flat, grid-like appearance. It's a very classic, traditional look. But the architectural shingle with all its varied layers creates real texture, shadow, and depth. It can even be designed to look like high-end materials like natural slate or cedar shakes, but you get that look without the extreme weight and, of course, the cost.
Okay, next up, durability. And wow, this chart tells a really powerful story. A standard 3-tab shingle. It's typically rated for winds up to 60 miles per hour. Not bad. But an architectural shingle can withstand winds of 120 miles per hour or even more. That is literally double the strength. We're talking about the difference between a pretty severe thunderstorm and a full-blown hurricane.
And this toughness, it isn't just about wind. That extra thickness helps architectural shingles just absorb the impact from things like hail or falling tree debris. If you live in a cold climate, they're way less likely to curl or lift during those constant freeze-thaw cycles. And in the summer, all that extra mass means better protection from the relentless sun. Basically, they're just built to handle the extremes.
And all that performance, it translates directly to lifespan and cost. You see, in really harsh weather, a 3-tab roof might only last 7 to 10 years. An architectural roof, though, it can last up to 30. The warranties totally reflect this. You get maybe 25 years for 3-tab versus 50 years or even lifetime for architectural. But, and this is a quick pro tip, on that lifetime warranty, you always need to read the fine print. Often, after a certain number of years, it only covers the prorated cost of the shingle itself, not the expensive labor to replace it. Still, the bottom line is pretty clear. While 3-tab is cheaper up front, you're very likely going to be paying for a whole new roof much, much sooner.
But here's something absolutely crucial to understand. The shingle you choose, that's only one piece of the puzzle. According to roofing experts, other factors can be even more important for the lifespan of your roof.
This quote from the International Institute of Building Enclosure Consultants is so important. It says, "Not all poorly adhered shingle tabs are caused by wind," and that reminds us that when a shingle fails, it's really easy to blame the wind or the material itself. But a lot of the time, the real culprit is something else entirely. So here's the key takeaway from the experts. Your contractor's quality is just as important as the shingle's quality. Why? Well, because even the best, most expensive shingle in the world is going to fail if it's not installed correctly. I'm talking about something as simple as improper nailing. That can totally void a warranty.
or poor attic ventilation, which can literally cook your shingles from below, drastically shortening their life. And hey, if the wooden deck underneath is rotten or damaged, your new roof is being built on a shaky foundation from day one.
So with all this information, how do you take it all and make the right call for your home?
Well, it really all comes down to a simple 4-point checklist. First, your climate. Take a hard look at your local weather risks. Do you get high winds or serious hail? Second, your budget. You've got to compare that short-term cost versus the long-term value. Third, the aesthetic. Just decide if you prefer that classic flat look or a more modern dimensional style. And finally, and this is arguably the most important one, your contractor. Always get multiple estimates from reputable, local pros who really stand by their work.
Ultimately, the whole decision really comes down to this question. Is your new roof just an expense, or is it an investment in your home's protection? Look, a 3-tab shingle is a perfectly fine choice to cover your roof economically. But an architectural shingle, that's an investment in long-term durability, enhanced curb appeal, and frankly, your own peace of mind. The right answer? It depends entirely on your home, your climate, and your priorities.